what police should be doing and what they should be responsible for. It's been, I mean, the idea has been presented before, but I'm thinking I'm going to read it, see if we're...
Yeah, I want to read that too. It's exactly what I'm working with this other guy and so we were using that like de-escalating police in Salt Lake City of like, that's awesome, doing that, and they actually have some kind of proof that something works, that the cops aren't killing people. Yeah, every little bit helps. Gets As you see that one guy for this thing, it kind of sets it back. But Mark already has in this collaboration I have with this. It's kind of like improv comedy,
Okay.
and that's called the first. So the improv comedy duo is called "We Are Who We Are," instead of talking about what our names are and stuff like that, or pseudonyms.
Okay, you just present yourself as a human.
We are who we are. Because then even calling it a human, to try to generalize it or even make it vague, you're just defining it as that. So,
got it.
So like trying to eliminate that conversation, but at the same time have that conversation. So the first performance that we did was based on emotions and went from sadness, joy, anger, regret, trans, that morphing thing, the transmigration, transpire, transcendence, and forgiveness at the end. And so those were the emotions, and then so we went through it in different ways, whether I was acting or not making any words, or playing harmonicas, or playing guitar. So we went through a lot of different variations, and he went through his own variations with it. But then we finally did it at the Unscrew Theater, and it went really well.
You just recently did this, or this was a while ago?
Yeah, that's pretty recent work. So this upcoming composition is based on the rainbow. And so I remember like weeks ago, then hanging out with Mark, and it was okay. So finally we get into practice. It's really hard to get to practice. And he's like almost 70 years old, so he doesn't move that fast too. And but he has great spirit though, and it's really good working with him. So let's see, he was like, okay, so we got everything set up, and I got this nice like every I forget what they call them, the big pieces of paper. Well, I have like each one is like a different color of the rainbow, and then I staple them together so it's like a line. So it's a big line of big piece of paper.
Like poster board?
Poster board, yeah. So each one is a different color of the rainbow for the poster board, not including black or white, and or the different hues. But it does have just like the primaries, the 7. And so we have everything laid out, and I have the harmonicas that correlate to that, and then we have charts even that so we're ready to practice. And he says that all he can think about is working on this workbook so he just kind of presents this whole other thing, and it's like a distraction, diversion that he's like kind of into, which is So it's interesting how people can set themselves up to things and then they can't do anything at all. So his intent is to maybe change police or incorporating applied improvisation and feng shui techniques into the police and getting. And so to do that, then he wants to get a grant. And so to get a grant, then he has to apply to these different places and then make correspondence with police, which he has done, and he hasn't gotten the grant yet.
Okay.
So he's working
on.
on.
Background in law enforcement?
No, but he is part of the citizens thing of community awareness and stuff. So he's connected in that regard.
Okay.
And he is like certified in his other ways of like feng shui and like artistry stuff. So, but so you have that. You have that pillar one of wanting what he wants to do. Then you have pillar two of then how to get what you want from pillar two to then getting that, getting the grant and things and the networking with the police. And then pillar three was like, well, he's coming to an improv conference so that he can understand more of the tools to use for pillar two. And so then pillar three is that he wants to make good with the network of these improvisers, applied improvisers. And so he goes off to California, and it's all like getting all these things together of getting like he's be there for 7 days, but he like a couple of weeks in advance planned out his trip and had to do all these things. Then
beyond the conference, he was going to try to do other.
So there's all like kind of more pillars, like so he got there and uh, what I've gained from having an interview with him was like coming back from him of like wanting to get to that point where now he feels like he can. Now he kind of feels like he's so overwhelmed with what went on. Like asking him stuff like, well, what was the best thing? Or he's like, everything is overwhelming. So everything goes back to just being everything is overwhelming. So what were some of the specific details of your experience? Everything was just it's just too broad of a question. It's like everything turns to like this defensive. I can't answer anything in particular because everything's overwhelming, you know.
Yeah.
And so
that's the root cause of the problem.
Of just it's with that because before it was like, okay, so you don't want to practice this thing for the rainbow because everything's this form of activism and like what he's saying too of like describing why he wants to go for this applied improvisation is so that people can talk clearer and have better communication with each other. But he's like stressing himself out at the same time. It's like it's almost like a joke. And so, but I recorded it too, and then that made like even more of another layer to it because then I put it on. We were dealing with. I wasn't at his house, but then he has the aggravation of dealing with Facebook and stuff, and and he made his own questions. But everything that he answered for his own question, he was just reading off a piece of paper of, okay, so at 9 o'clock they had an activity of this, but he wouldn't say anything of what his personal thing, like seniors learn better improv.
Okay.
But that's it. That he wouldn't go into like what he got from it, anything. Instead, he was just like, this is and then he would just talk about his frustrations that what I've gained from it is like, I think they had like 2 days of this learning experience where they had to go through something altogether, and then for the last 2 days was the actual conference, but they had like 5 things going on at once, so you can't get to see everything, and you have, it was like, I think over about almost 400 people or something.
Oh, wow.
And
Specific for seniors?
no, not for just seniors. And so and everything was so spread out over the campus. And this is me coming from my filter, after hearing all of this kind of stuff from his filter. And so I did record it, and I sent him like a audio edited version of it. But it's interesting of like, so you have the main thing, you have the secondary thing, and the third thing, and but all at the same time, I have to remember of what the real reason why I said, like, let's do an interview, to decompress. He needs to decompress and make it another interview from it. I was thinking of playing that interview, and like we'll listen to it, like make commentary, and then record that.
Yeah, that would be, I think that would be very helpful.
So that's so I want to talk about that. I mean, I want to write something down for that. For that's one of the things that I'm doing now. Of I liked everything. Yeah, I like the ideas of bringing the rainbow spectrum into the police officers for this culture too. And then it's almost like it's its own form of activism, and I think it's extremely necessary. I want to take away. I have specific things that I think would really help out of incorporating the word peace officer rather than police, to reinstate that word.
Definitely.
Because it's the lost word of what it was.
To protect and serve, yeah.
No, that came out later.
Oh,
that's more, but it was everyone that was called a peace officer.
For sure.
They were called peace officers like back in like I think revolutionary times. I have to look for it. I have to look it up again. But it's these like little things can do a lot more.
I'll send you the podcast on that when I find
The
paper.
dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a brief history on like police and the fact that they came out of slave owners.
Oh, interesting.
So that is really the beginning. And then he brings it all the way to like modern day times when you look at like riots or just rallies or protests in general, look where they're standing, and he gave some specific examples where I don't remember where this happened, but they were guarding the CVS. Seems like they were rarely guarding citizens that pay them. Like all their salaries come from taxpayers, but think of all the things that you see them guarding. It's all the corporations.
Yeah.
So we're paying for them to guard something that we don't even care about. So it was a great talk.
Yeah, it's a really interesting, like, abusive relationship.
Yeah, that we're doing it.